Welcome back, guys. I want to talk about how welding saved my life. And before I started pretty much my trade school, welding, my life pretty much had no direction. One of the things that I joined welding, I wanted to learn how to fabricate and build like secret compartments, stuff like that. Once I got in the welding class, I hated it. It was so hot in there. It was towards the end of the summer, and they started me with gas welding, so I had to wear their big ass leather coat with the torch, and we had to gas welding, and the welds used to pop all the time. And pretty much we did a gas welding stick and MIG and then TIG towards the end, and then fabrication for advanced students. So once I like towards the middle of the class, once I got like towards the end stick welding, I really started liking it. I started like really falling in love with welding, and I can see myself doing that for as a career. And it was getting really fun, and I pretty much got addicted to it. And my teacher hearing his stories and everything, like he could always tell us that we can make a good living, that we would never have to struggle for a job anymore. And yeah, pretty much he was right. Once, and like everybody in every school, pretty much everybody wanted to be a pipe welder. I wanted to be a pipe welder. People were just talking about all the money you can make being a pipe welder and all like that. So pretty much my teacher told us that if I was asking him if about the pipe welding, and he pretty much said, you should really think about it. Think about it. You're gonna be welding circles for the rest of your life. So is that what you want to do? Like once it gets like to your heavy pipe, like you can spend one day and probably in one weld or more than one day, and then do the thing over and over again. Yeah, it makes more money, but once you get older, like you're gonna be crawling underneath those pipes. It's not easy. And yeah, he's right. Plus, yeah, it's not like people always it's like temporary work. You make good money, but it's never steady. So he got me thinking, and yeah, I pretty much didn't go that route. And I ended up getting a job pretty good at where they make cranes. Back in the day, it was one of those jobs that it was known that once you got in there, that was your retirement. But one of the things was that Caterpillar bought it, and it took everything away from us. So it was time to move on. And I just went from place to place, learning as much as I can. Once I felt that I wasn't learning anything, I'll move on to the next one. So that's one thing I always tell people is like, don't get stuck on the same job. Try to go somewhere else and see how they do things. And you're always gonna pick up one here, one there. You might show them things that they're not doing right. But at the same time, you're always gonna learn something that you thought you were doing right. It's always a trade-off once you get a new job. You never get to be like, I know everything. So for me, the best experience was going from job to job. When I finished school, I thought I was the best welder in the world. Once I got to the work field, I was the worst welder in the world. That's how much of a difference it is. So, by going from job to job, you get pretty good experience. And, you know, I know it's not like back in the day where you stay, the longer you stayed on a job, the more you made. Nowadays, it's like you gotta go look for your raise. And the only way to get your raise nowadays is to change jobs. And, you know, I know sometimes jobs will teach you something. But just give it enough time where you think you have paid off whatever they show you, and move on, because a job we're always gonna feel that they taught you something, and then you own them something, and they say because of that you won't deserve a raise or whatever, you know. So like I say, always go look for the money. Don't wait. Like I had, that's one thing I was never scared was changing jobs, you know. And I never got fired from a job. It was always I found a better position, you know, a place where it was gonna pay for my school, because I want to keep educating myself. I wanted to become a welding engineer. So, you know, as I work at those places, my dream was to get to the front office, you know, work as an engineer, as a design engineer, welding engineer, and, you know, I became both. And I made it to the front office, you know, my dad, everything, my office. Once I got there, you know, it was okay, but as time went by, I just hated it, you know. I had to sit there all day. I mean, it was fun. I had to design fixtures or modify a part. Yeah, that was pretty fun. But sometimes some jobs they don't change their product that often, and pretty much you're just sitting there doing nothing. You know, you're still getting paid, but I never felt right about that. You know, and I mean that's the way the places work. But I like getting things done, always being under pressure and changing things, you know. And it was just so boring sitting in front of a computer. You know, I just missed the floor so much. You know, being able to troubleshoot something, you know, figure out why the pieces weren't in there, or, you know, all those fucking things involved with fabrication, you know, different projects and see the project come along and so on. So after that, I decided to open a welding shop and a small welding. You know, my dream was to have a small repair shop. That back in the day seems to be possible. Nowadays, I don't think so, because everybody owns a welder nowadays, and everybody's a welder nowadays. So I know back in the day, a TIG welder was like the cheapest one was like $7,000. Now it's like you can get one for $300. So anybody knows somebody that has a welder nowadays. So pretty much that didn't really work out, right? And I moved, and then I started again another shop, and I started in my garage, and I was just doing parts for nuclear plants. You know, they were sending me the parts here to my house, and I was just welding them, and that was a pretty good job. I was able to buy real nice toys. You know, is where all this stuff comes from, and it was hard because it was a lot of requirements, but at the same time it was fun because I was able to do it from home. And from there, like I got a different customer. I had a different customer, and the customer I was asking me to work on plastics that they couldn't find anybody, so I finally ended up buying our little CNC router, and I started doing plastics for them. And before you know, like all my work became acrylic, and it's pretty much 99% of my work is acrylic. And I'm trying to pretty much retire from welding and pretty much hang up the gloves. And this is where I got all my helmets here, because I want to build boxes like this for each one of them and just hang them out the wall as memory. And I will always have respect for welding, even though I won't be doing it anymore. I always have it there in case I needed it. Never once did I ever struggle from getting a job. I always have more jobs opportunities than anything else. So that was saved my life. I don't know what I would have did without it. Even though my business is plastic now, I always have welding in my background. And I know I would always have a job on this field. And, you know, just don't be scared, and you will never be unemployed. Especially if you're a fabricator, you're like gold. So pretty much thank you guys, and hope to see you guys soon.